My name is Carmen, and today we have a reading for you about somebody who is, I think, trying to be a little bit deceptive as to how they view you, whether or not you can trust them, and what their intentions towards you are. But your intuition is telling you not to trust them. So this could be somebody that you work with. This could be somebody who is kind of just like an acquaintance. Maybe you just recently met them. I don't get that this is a love reading. I feel like this is more so likely to play out in the context of family or a social group or a workplace. But this person's plotting. They're trying to find a way to make things more difficult for you. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. A little bit more. I hope you're having a good day. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. If you're in the stars or the towers tiers, the members only live stream is being kind of like swapped out for something. So make sure you check my posts. They'll just be visible to those of you that are in the right tier. So if you can see it, then you've got it. Hello, Christy. How are you doing? Hello, Apurva. What's going on? You got your wish. I love it. All right, let's start with the Sansom Weird Day and see what else we've got for you about this. Rival or foe is the word that's on the card. For some of you, maybe this is a friend who has turned into a foe. Three of Pentacles. Justice in the reverse. And the Magician in the reverse. Yeah, I think this is someone who's trying to impact how other people view you. So that Three of Pentacles could absolutely be a reference to a workplace. Pentacles are generally associated with money, right? Stability. But this could also be about your acquaintances. So if you have a group of friends, or maybe it's a church community, maybe it's where you go to work out, there's some collective opinion here that this person wants to influence. I want everyone to look at you and think that you're the problem. That's what they want. Hello, I am. How are you doing? Hello, Carrie. How's your day? What else? Knight of Swords. Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Sun. So they feel like they've uncovered some information that is useful or important to you, and they plan to keep this secret. And find a way to like use it against you. See how that sword is being swallowed? The sword represents truth, right? So they're like, I'm not going to tell anybody what's really going on here. I'm going to let there be a little bit of doubt or some confusion. And I feel like I have a way that I can use this to my advantage. What is this information that they're keeping to themselves? Ace of Swords, King of Swords. So this could be somebody who is Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or has that featured prominently in their chart. This is someone who has access to some record or some message. It's like, okay, you want me to tell this person that their appointment has been changed, and now it's like an hour later, sure, or an hour earlier. They're like, I wonder what would happen if I didn't pass along that message. I wonder if I didn't defend this person for doing things that they were supposed to do. Hello, Camilla. How are you doing? Thank you, Paige. Hello, Dana. Oh, good. I was looking for it, making sure I didn't miss it. Hello. Is it Garen or Garon? Trying to make it sound all fancy. We've got the Ten of Wands. They want to put you in a problematic situation that seems like there's no way to convince people of the truth because they have altered something, hidden some information, or they're giving maybe like false testimony. Like, no, I didn't see that person, or they never showed up for work. No, I didn't hear that person say that, or, you know, I was with your boyfriend or your girlfriend and saw them get hit on and, you know, they didn't do anything about it. Seemed like they liked it. There's this like, I know you've got something that seems pretty predictable or stable right now. You feel like you've got everything figured out, but I'm going to determine a way to make that more difficult for you. That's what they're thinking. Star in the reverse. They want to impact the people who look at you and feel like you've got everything figured out. Hello, Lemonade. What's up? How you doing? Okay, so like Aaron, but with a G. I think that's how I said it the first time. And then we've got the Five of Cups. The thing is, this is somebody who is maybe a little bit too close to the details. It's like they are missing the big picture somehow. So their attempt to cause problems for you may get derailed or may, you know, provide some surprises for them. We've got the Six of Swords in the reverse, Nine of Wands. I feel like they're going to have to explain their actions or answer some uncomfortable questions to a person of authority. Sorry, just throwing things around. Hello, Tina. How are you doing? Oh, we have two Tinas. We've got Tina Marie and Tina Bobina. Hello to both of you. This is the Soul Cat Tarot. We've got the Six of Swords in the upright after we just had the Six of Swords in the reverse. So I feel like this is your energy. You are able to somehow navigate this even though you have a person who is trying to make you look like the problem. I feel like there's either someone who has your back or someone else who's able to access information, do a little favor for you and find out what happened. But you already have like good credit with someone involved in this social community or this workplace. Ace of Swords and the World. This is if, like, let's say this is a workplace and it's, you work for a company where there's multiple branches or multiple locations. Maybe someone deletes information off of the local system. You can't find that information anywhere here. But if you drive to the next town over and you go to that branch, you can have access to that. This is like, I just have to be creative about how I get this information that somebody is trying to hide or somebody has tried to alter. So maybe this is about versions, you know, like did somebody edit your work or try to claim that you didn't do your work? If this is a social situation, this is someone who's trying to make it seem like you were doing something shady to cause people to judge you. But there is proof or someone who's able to document, you know, this person was actually doing that. This person is lying because, you know, they want to make someone look bad. So the King of Swords is the person who is lying. I don't know if I have a name for you yet. The person who is seen as a rival. King of Pentacles. That's what you are. Remember, if it's a king, that doesn't mean that we have to be talking about a man. This is talking about someone who's using words in order to create some like smear campaign or some like problem at a workplace for you. And you're seen as this King of Pentacles. People feel like normally you're quite grounded. You don't get like, you know, you're not excitable. You figure things out. You might have a novel way of approaching things, or you have some respect here that you've accrued with people because you do things a little bit, I don't know, it's like you have a unique approach. So if somebody comes back around or is creative in how they access information, it looks like they are able to discover that this King of Swords has tried to make you look bad. That it isn't just some weird, like, you know, something accidentally got deleted. Like maybe there's actually like a timestamp and this person's like logins, or maybe it's a social media thing. Somebody got a screenshot. But this King of Swords ends up being put under like a spotlight. Okay, so you said this happened, or you said that this didn't happen. You said you were a witness, or you kept this information from us. Would you like to tell us why? Seven of Swords in the reverse. You have an opportunity to come clean. We're going to ask you some questions. You might think that you still have control over the situation, but you don't. I feel like someone's being tested. Like, can you tell us what happened this day and why you did what you did? Hello, Melissa. How are you doing? Have I said hello to Rachel? Hello, Rachel. Hello, CSA. How are you doing? Happy New Year. We've got the Five of Wands and the Wheel. So there's a change that someone made in order to make you look bad, because they do feel like you are either competition for a promotion. Maybe you are competition as far as, like, you know, romantic encounters. But I think for most of you, this is a person who feels threatened by your skills or your talents, your reputation in a social group. It's like they want to see you be a little bit less proud. Knight of Swords. There's that truth. So whatever they were trying to keep quiet, or whatever they had tried to alter, now they have to explain themselves why they took this action, because they've been caught. And I do feel like we have someone who wants to do the right thing when they're asking these questions. In other words, if this is a workplace situation, the HR or the leader who is asking these questions genuinely wants to know what's going on, because, like, if this is a problem, you could cause problems for other people, right? If this is within a social group, we have somebody who is asking questions because they genuinely want to know the truth. It's not because they're trying to manipulate it themselves. Hello, Taryn. How are you doing? Yes. The truth has a way of coming out. So the Sun in the reverse, Four of Wands. This person felt if they altered or, you know, kept this information secret, that they would be seen as the most popular, the most attractive, or they would get the promotion, they would get the attention. People would think they saved the day. This is kind of giving, like, hey, I want to impress this girl across the street. Can you, like, have like a little fist fight, and then I'll break it up and I'll look like the hero, you know? This person wanted to look like they were like fixing a problem or calling out. Somebody would give them attention. They wanted the wrong kind of attention. Manipulating it, not just because they wanted to look good, but also because they wanted to make you look bad. Seven of Wands. Two of Swords. Protection. Someone who feels that you are an asset, or you are a great, like, friend. I don't want there to be any problems for you. This is a person who says, okay, so if we have this information and it doesn't really make sense based on what I know about this person, then I feel like it's my responsibility to just, like, kind of check this out a little bit. So this is the person who's willing to, like, drive to the next town over, or the person who's willing to do a little bit of investigation on their own, because they don't feel like this is truthful. They feel like this King of Swords has ulterior motives. Hello, UK. How are you doing? We have Four of Cups, Queen of Wands in the reverse, and the Six of Pentacles. This is someone who feels like they get something if you are, like, not liked as much, or if you are seen as a problem. If your star falls a little bit, then my star rises. If you don't get the promotion, then I get the promotion. If people don't like you as much, or if, you know, if you're not as attractive, then I'm considered the hottest one in the group. There's someone here who just feels like they have to be better than you, but the only way they can achieve it is through manipulation. All right, this is the Kipper. So Queen of Wands in the reverse, indicative of jealousy or insecurity. And they look at you as this privileged lady. Now, you came out as the King of Pentacles in the first part, so this is why we don't pay too close attention to gender, right? However you identify, this is somebody who says, you know, you're not as great as you think you are, or everybody likes you. They might be like, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. They feel like people don't choose them. that you get chosen instead. Maybe they feel like they don't get invited to all the events, but you're the most popular. So we had the Thoughts card from the Gypsy Oracle at the beginning. And we also have it from the Kipper, along with the main male. So this is, why do people prefer you to me? Why do people like you better than me? Why are you more successful or more like desirable than me? And what can I do to get people to see you differently so that I can benefit from some of that like popularity? Hello, CJ. How are you doing? Hello, Key Controller. We've got unexpected income, courtship. Okay. So I either want to make you look bad because I want to be seen as like the most dateable in the social group, or I want to make you seem like a poor choice for a promotion or a raise and make it seem like you have failed your responsibilities or your obligations in some way. But they feel like there's gain here. They either feel like someone's going to be more likely to be interested in me, or like feel like I'm, you know, the cool person in the group, everyone always invites me, or I get chosen for a promotion. Because the courtship doesn't always have to be romantic. This could also be about a contract, right? And this King of Swords is like, well, I know how to steal that offer. I know how to make that person reconsider and choose me instead. Occupation. Do they though? Kind of feel like they're messing it up. Kind of feels like they're not getting what they want. Ooh, I'm sorry. I know YouTube's kind of funny right now. Apurva, you can also try to donate a membership. I think it's a different button or key or whatever, if that works for you. I think that's a good approach, Melissa. Did I say hello to Dana? I think I did. So we've got third chakra, Archangel Shamuel. The third chakra is related to self-expression. So I do feel like you defend yourself, and I do also feel like there's someone else who stands up for you. I really do feel like this is tied to your money. Whether you are finding a place to live, whether you are getting a promotion, or whether or not it's like how people view you and whether or not you are like high value or like highly sought after. But I think this abundance is meant for you, and somebody is trying to like, I don't know, budge in line. Hello, Mysterium. How are you doing? We are 18 minutes in. How's it going, April? I'm glad, Rachel. Sometimes it takes us a little bit to get to that point, but then it becomes like second nature. So we've got Door to Spirit, and I think this is about people's intuition regarding who you are. So if this person's trying to turn a bunch of friends against you, people are thinking about how they've seen you act and realizing that maybe there's something here that has been misleading or misrepresented. If this is a workplace thing and you're being considered for a promotion and someone tried to make it look like you haven't really done your work, there are people who have been witness to the fact that you have really done a good job. So this illusion is not working the way they wanted to, because you have been quite good at showing your dedication to what you do, or showing that you are, you know, honorable, you have integrity. Now we have Door to Romance. So we had Door to Value and now also Door to Romance, and the Angel of Love. This person who sticks up for you, this love could be a platonic love. They want to make sure that you are, you know, not dealing with gossip that's unfair or like targeting you. But I also feel like in someone's efforts to make you look bad, and when the truth comes out, there's someone here who gets a little bit more than like friendly towards you. So maybe that's a lesson for our King of Swords. When you try to mess with how people view others and try to make someone look bad because you feel like you can't compare to that person, there are a lot of times where that's just going to go horribly wrong for you. And in this case, it's making someone appreciate all the more this King of Pentacles individual. It's like, oh, thanks for telling me about that person you don't like. It turns out I'm actually like totally in love with them. Hello, Donna. How are you doing? That seems like a good idea. I agree, Rachel. What's up, Bearcat? How you doing? So we have journal. There is proof somewhere. I feel like whoever's lying on you, they don't realize that there's evidence that someone else is capable of getting, even if it is just a little bit awkward, like somebody having to log into an old account, or having to like call someone up and ask them to help you. But with a little bit of time, that's exactly what I see someone doing. Okay, so you say so-and-so is a problem. You say they have bad intentions. But for whatever reason, I can't get access to this thing that you're talking about. Well, all right. Because I care, or because I want to make sure that this is a fair review, I'm going to go the extra mile and make sure that what you're saying is true. And this terrifies the King of Swords because they realize, uh-oh, you're going to be able to figure out that I manipulated some information or didn't tell you the truth, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Apurva. Are you able to exit the video and then try to go back in? Yeah, it's been super glitchy. They've been doing a lot of software updates. I know there were a few signs in my like analytics or reporting where I'm like, YouTube, are you okay? Do you need a vacation? So we interview and pressure cooker. Hey, it looks like maybe you altered some records or deleted something here that you shouldn't have. Do you want to tell us like what the hell you were doing? Hey, it looks like you posted something on social media and then immediately deleted it, and then you told everybody else something different from what you had posted on social media. Can you tell me about that? Yeah? Why did that happen? Like I'm interviewing. This person's sweating because they know they can't really back up what they've done. They didn't think anybody would really like look, right? Don't look behind the curtain. So now they have to admit that there was something they did. And now they have to be honest about the fact that they wanted to impact how people view this King of Pentacles. But how much are they willing to actually admit? I feel like they kind of like take a breadcrumbing approach. Like, I'll admit to some of it, but not everything that I did. And then someone shows up who has like the logs, the auditable tracking, or the social media account. There's somebody here who's like, well, I'm so glad you asked. Let's just take a little look here. Oh my, it shows here that you're a big old liar. They didn't expect the like records to come out. They didn't expect there to be a little investigation. They didn't expect somebody to stick up for you or know where to find the receipts. So they're a little bit intimidated. Hello, Abdul. How are you doing? That's true. Only those that deserve it. Hello, Jessica. What What do we have? Skirt. Quick getaway. This person makes up an excuse to leave because they don't want to have this conversation. They're going through a lot of stress because their efforts to make you look bad have instead started to make them look bad. They were not expecting any kind of like fallout from this for themselves. They were getting ready with some popcorn. They were like, oh, okay, now I get to watch everybody decide that they don't like you because I set up everything perfectly. Oh no, oh no. And then they realized they didn't. So they were plotting, but apparently they're not very good at it. This could be someone who ends up getting fired. This could be someone who gets ostracized or cut off from the social group because of their manipulations or their dishonesty. I do feel like there's some motivation here. It could be I'm mad because there are people who are very interested in you romantically and I have nobody who's interested in me. I don't know that I necessarily feel like this is a person who's romantically tied to you. We could just be looking at those intense emotions at the bottom, and that could be jealousy, right? Why do you get all the attention? Why does everybody like you? Why are you, everybody's favorite in the leadership team? Especially if this impacts their money, they felt like they could do something here to make people dislike you, and then they would get like a win-win. But their confidence is not getting the boost that they were hoping for or expecting because people have figured out their plan. They were smiling in your face or pretending that everything was fine while conspiring against you or gossiping. And definitely thinking about themselves and how they could benefit from that situation. Yeah, that's the best way to approach it, Melissa, don't you think? What else do we have? Detox, rooting negativity, purification, the cleanse. I think this person's getting shown the door. Like, hey, we don't really like people who get all manipulative and try to lie about others. We understand that there were some like intense things going on there, but it doesn't really justify what you were doing. So they were hoping that they would be taken more seriously. They were hoping that they would be like brought into the inner circle. And instead they're realizing that they don't get to stay around. They're not invited to the party. Well, something, something, stupid games, something, something, stupid prizes. Let's see what else we've got. This is the Fairy Lenormand. What a weird question. Hello, and Jishnu, how are you doing? I don't really talk about myself on here like that. And I also don't know how you define young. I can certainly be immature at times. Very goofy. We've got 19, the Tower. I'm sorry if you've heard me explain this a million times, but in the Lenormand, the Tower is different from the Tower in the Tarot. This talks about organization, hierarchies, or even a building. Even more evidence that this is probably about a workplace or, like how people are seen within a social dynamic. There's definitely been some interesting shows in the last couple of years about the lengths people will go to in order to impact their social standing in a group. I'm right now thinking about Yellow Jackets. I don't know if any of you all have watched that. It's definitely a wild ride. Has some amazing 90s songs for the soundtrack. But there was a lot of problems with that group in terms of how to navigate those high school emotions and how they are perceived by others. So this person who was trying to make you look bad so that they could be seen as a better choice or more popular, now they're seeing that dream of kind of like replacing you or being seen as better, it's not going to work out for them because their lies or their disloyalty it's been proven by people who actually are loyal to you. So I see you getting this promotion, this raise, or, you know, being the beloved friend. Maybe even the very popular, people all have a crush on you type. And this person's not able to have that impact on your reputation in the way they were hoping to, you know? Hello, Brianna, how are you doing? Or is it Brianna? Let's get a few from the Cook's Tarot. What else do we have? The Hermit. And the Seven of Pentacles. So now this rival of yours, the King of Swords, they're having to reconsider what path lies ahead of them. For some, they need to find a new job. For others, they're thinking about what they can do to potentially salvage the friendships that are a little bit under stress right now. And for others of you, this is like, hey, you know, maybe I need to learn a lesson from how I tried to manipulate this and be a little bit more reasonable, be more willing to put in the work that I need to in order to be seen the way I want to be seen. So I feel like there's a financial windfall for you, and this person who tried to take that from you is encouraged to learn from the situation and be more focused on their own energy as opposed to trying to compete. Hello, Shay. How are you doing? Hello, Luke. I have not seen that, Rachel. And if you have, let me know, because like I said, there have been some weird things happening as far as YouTube not necessarily working like it was previously. And I guess that kind of makes sense. I think end of the year with people being on vacation, I do feel like there's a lot of like software adjustments that happen or like software versions that come out. We've got the Six of Swords and the Knight of Swords. So you're going to be just fine. There are people here who want to make sure that the truth about you is known and that you don't get maligned or gossiped about. And I don't have a particular person coming forward, so I feel like it's more than one person that sees you for who you really are, right? Yes, that's true. All right. Let's see. This is the Character Oracle. King. So this is like a boss, or it could be like the leader of the pack, but I feel like this is a boss who sees this person being unreasonable or trying to get people to dislike you, and they're able to lay down the law. This person may be getting written up. Mother. Selfless love, nurturer, source of life, maternal patience, comforter. So people look at you as a person who is selfless, someone who's able to get things done. People see you as creative or passionate. We have the musician card, so this could also be an indicator that you work with music. But there's someone who is down on their luck, struggling with their finances, and they were looking at what was around them that they could easily kind of like commandeer, make their own without having to do all the work. And they saw you, felt like they could do something to improve their own situation by impacting how people view you. Now the truth is being revealed. They can't really lie about you anymore. And now we have justice. Or we're about to. So this person gets called out. maybe even written up, maybe even fired, because they were so focused on trying to make you look like the problem. All right. I'm going to leave it there. Hello, spiritual healer. How you doing today? Thank you for the likes and the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to. And I will see you on the next reading.